King Hustle, and yes, this is the best money and credit channel on YouTube. So make sure you subscribe and hit the all notification bell. So whenever I drop new sauce, new lessons, new methods, and giveaways, you'll be the first one to be notified. You'll be the first one to know what's going on. And hey, you might be the first one to win something for free. So make sure you subscribe and hit the all notification bell on all the YouTube channels. Also, make sure you follow me on my Twitch, King Hustle Live. I do all my freebies and giveaways from those YouTube channels and Twitch. So make sure you subscribe and hit the all notification bell so you won't miss out on nothing. Also, make sure you follow me on all my social media platforms. All you gotta do is click the title on every video. Once you click the title on every video, the bottom in the description, all my social media links will pop up. All right. Got a lot of fake King Hustle pages out there. So please get a FaceTime verification call or video to make sure you see this face. Make sure you are doing legit business and you are getting what you paid for. All right. And before we get anything started, this is all educational purposes only, not telling anybody to do anything. So let's get this thing started. Hey, let's get this thing started. Hey, what to do, my real King Hustle fans, supporters, subscribers out there, my real Hustle Nation Empire family members, and we are back at it again with the gems, back at it again with the sauce, back at it again with the information that's gonna turn you into a boss. So you tired of being a zero? You ready to be a family hero? Listen up, take a seat, get your notepad and get your pen, because you already know when I drop these videos and y'all get the notifications, it's gonna be some information that's gonna help you win or keep you entertained. So in today's video, we're gonna talk about these new bank scams methods that's going on in today's world. It's a lot of new methods. There's a lot of new people in the scam fraud world. There's a lot of new people on the dark web. The world is now being oversaturated with this epidemic of scamming and fraud again. And people have been brainwashed the past 5, 6 years with it. Ever since COVID-19, PPP, and all this epidemic funds was out there. People, was doing a lot of fraudulent activity and getting money and flashing it on social media. Now, it's a lot of people out there that, when it comes to scams, frauds, and methods and dark web, a lot of people think it's fake. A lot of people think these methods are fake. A lot of people think everything is just a scam, right? And a lot of people don't even know what a scam is. Everybody throws out the word scammer. Are you a scammer? This is a scammer. They're a scam. Not knowing that there are scammers, there are fraudsters, and there are hackers. Those three titles do three different things. And having the knowledge on that will keep people aware and be able to see certain things. So let me give you some information. So a scammer or a scam is somebody or something that is social engineered, tricked, or manipulated into doing something. So they might trick somebody into sending their own money with their authorization. That's a scam. Fraud is when somebody fraudulently or takes somebody's revenue or funds or money without their authorization, without their acknowledgement. A hacker is someone who steals information or compromises information. It can get into databases, can get into servers, can get into webs, can get to people. Okay, let me put it to you like this. Everything works off servers, databases, coding, everything that's electronic, from cell phones, computers, laptops, anything that we can control electronically is running off a database, a server, which can be compromised or hacked. And that's everything in the world. So that's the difference between the three. Hackers get information, control certain things. Fraudsters steal money without the victim's authorization, and scammers manipulate or trick or social engineer the victim into sending their own money. So that's the difference between the three. Everybody just, and that's what kills me. Like, everybody just throw out the word scammer. Are you a scammer? Oh, that's a scam. Scam, 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 scam. Don't even be knowing what stuff mean. Just like people with the CPNs. People throw out the word, oh, that's a CPN, and don't even know what an actual CPN is. Or that's what somebody uses, a dead person's identity, or or somebody saw, like, people don't even be knowing what stuff is. They just go off what they hear multiple people saying, and they say, "Oh, that must be what it is," and really believing what that's what it is. It's not. So that's the difference between the three. Now that we know the difference between the three, there are a lot of bank scams that's going on in today's world. And there are a lot of it's five top bank scams that's really going on that's being beneficial to the fraudsters and the scammers in the dark world. So one of those methods is check fraud. And check fraud has been going on for a very long time, a very, very long time. And as the world evolves, the methods evolve. As these companies and these businesses and the government makes it easier for people, they're also making it easier for scammers and fraudsters because everything that everybody is doing to get whatever that they want, the scammers and the fraudsters and the hackers are doing the exact same thing, just in a fraudulent way. So check fraud. First of all, let's rewind it. Bank fraud is probably the highest rated form of fraud because banks are an institute that holds a lot of money from holding people's money and lending money out. So this place of establishment is based around money. When you go in there, you're dealing with money. They offer things that pertains to money: loans, credit cards, lines of credit, debit cards, you name it. So people are trying to figure out ways how to finesse the banks. Now, people start to think and they say, okay, in order to do a lot of these things, it's just based off documentations, what it says on this paper. So when you go get a loan, you got to give them documentations, and what those documentations say will determine how much you get approved and if you'll get approved for this loan, credit card, line of credit or not. So then they say, okay, so what information do we need to have on those documentations? Those documentations. They figure that out. And then they sit back and say, well, the documentations can be altered, can be edited, can be changed, can be curated. So we basically can say whatever we wanted to say on these documentations. So then they figure that out. And people have there's more fraudulent documentations being pushed through different systems than there is real documentations with real information in today's world. There's more fraudulent documentations from auto loans, credit cards, mortgage loans being pushed through the system than it is applications with actual real information. Because it's a lot of people not in the position or have the information that they need to be approved for whatever that they're really trying to be approved for. People forge documentations all the time with different things from taxes to loans to uh, food share all the time. Like, to get whatever that they need, people forge these documentations all the time. So banks are the number one institution that deals with money, and scammers and fraudsters understand that. Instead of going for the couple $100, they want to go for the couple thousands of dollars, and they want to be able to get it quick, fast, in a hurry. So check fraud. Back to check fraud. People have been committing check fraud for a very long time because check fraud was one of the first scams that came from a bank. Meaning that when banks were first created, the first scam that happened at a bank was check fraud. So people in the beginning, 10, 15, 90, 15, 20, 25 years ago, 26 years ago, the early 99s, 2000s, when people used to commit check fraud, they'd basically write a bad check. That's basically what they just write bad checks into their own account, withdraw the funds, and then close the account. That's what the check method was back then. And people back then, it wasn't like 25 years ago, it wasn't such a big deal. Like, it was a big deal, but it wasn't a big deal. Like, you wouldn't like getting arrested or nothing for it and getting charged, and they just close your account. 25 years later, now they have it where you can tap your card to get funds out of ATM. You can take pictures of checks and deposit it into bank accounts. Now, remember when I said as they make it easier for the customers and the people, they're also making it easier for the scammers. And this is one of those ways. By them now allowing people to take pictures of checks and deposit it, now you got people that's coming up with the most elaborate ways to get fraudulent checks. There are places on the internet where you can create fraudulent check templates. People are creating these, printing them out, taking pictures, and depositing them into fraudulent bank accounts, CPN bank accounts, and withdrawing the funds. See, when it comes to check fraud, there's so many different ways that people commit this scam. Like, so let me break down some ways because it's like people be thinking it's just one way to do one method or one thing, and there's so many different ways to do one thing. So check fraud, you got people who you got check fraud. You got the people who say, "Oh, you got this bank, that bank, that bank, tap in, boom." It's called card cracking. And what they do is they basically deposit fraudulent checks into somebody's account, get their debit card or whatever information, and then when the check clears, they'll pull out the funds, however many funds that they can, and then probably leave that person with nothing or a couple of dollars. Then you got the people who steal checks from mailboxes, mail carriers, or even have people working in the post office to intercept checks, and then they wash the checks. So they might change the name on the check. You got people who even change the amount on the checks, but the problem is when you change the amount on the check, banks are verifying checks, so they gonna call this company and say, "Hey, you got a check number in your system for check number blah 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 for the amount of blah blah blah," and that's basically how they used to verify checks. They didn't even ask the name; they just asked for the check number and the amount. But now they're starting to ask for the name too, ask the name too to verify everything because there's so much check fraud going on, and people are starting to catch on to what they ask to when they verify. So people wash checks. They use different solutions, acetone, brake fluid, wash to get certain ink off and do different things, and then like they go through a lot of people go through these type of extraneous procedures just to cash a $500 fraudulent check, a $250 fraudulent check, $100 fraudulent check, it's just crazy. You got people who's going on the dark web, like I said, as the world evolves, the methods evolve. So now it's to the point where the world is so AI and technology based that there are people on hackers on the dark web or sites on or places on the dark web where you can go and buy actual checks from actual businesses, meaning that hackers are compromising companies' databases, getting into like the HR and all that, getting the check data templates and all that, and getting the real check paper and creating real checks. Targets, Walmarts, real like major businesses, and people are finding these people on the dark web and ordering checks from them. So it's basically like all the information is real. Like it's the same account route, and all the information at the bottom of check, all the information is real on check. Like it's a real check. Like you stood next to somebody who actually worked at those institutions, and you put check by check side by side, it'd be the exact same check, just a different name and a different number. And that's just all based off the scammers and the hackers stealing, compromising databases from these different institutions and being able to have this information now and make these because they got the real information. Like they got the ink, I mean the color of the ink and this and that. Like they got everything that you know what I'm saying. So it's getting real sophisticated. People are going on sites buying different checks and it's cashing these checks from these real businesses with real information. So check fraud is like there's so many different ways that people commit check fraud. It's getting ridiculous. Then you got credit card fraud. And like I said, credit card fraud. Credit card fraud used to be back in the day, 25 years ago, people would go on the dark web, buy information, get the information, write it on a prepaid debit card or something, emboss the card, and go into these stores and buy products and go sell it on Craigslist. Now it's to the point where they got these tools, Flipper Zeros, they got code dots that can basically clone frequencies, get information and not even be nowhere near that person. So somebody can be 500 feet away with those tools. Now these tools are not you just go buy and be like, hey, I can do it. No, you got it has to be coded and it has to be or has boards that's coded own it to be able to do these different things. It's just not you buy the product and now you're just a hacker though. You got to have boards and codes and things like that. But if somebody was to have these boards and codes connected to it, they can be 500 feet away and basically compromise somebody's credit card or debit card information, and they wouldn't even know it. And there are wallets that can protect people from this happening because it's starting to become more popular. So they making more wallets and protection security for that. Like it's really getting real crazy out here. So credit card and debit card fraud. Then you got the pre-built CPNs, the identity theft. Now people um have been committing identity theft for a very long time, a very long time, and people have now gotten to the point where they're throwing out this CPN word, and people don't even know what a CPN is. So there are two things: there's a CPN and there's a pre-built CPN. A CPN is basically a new credit profile that's established around that person's information. Like everything is the same, all the information is the same, but the name, well, not the name, but the address and the number connected to the profile. Pre-built CPN is just stolen identity. You're basically stealing somebody's identity and getting a fake ID with your picture attached to it. That's all that is. And with stolen identity, people gotta understand. You know, people go to the DMV and got licenses and permits and ID cards. So when you take this picture, they take the picture. All that picture is logged into the database with all that information. And they got a driver's license number and they got a barcode. So some scammers get these fake IDs with stolen information and put that person's driver's license number on there. And then when they run a driver's license number, it comes back to somebody else. And that barcode on the back of your ID, they can scan that and all the information pop up. So a lot of businesses are now getting card readers and running driver's license number, and these identities of different people are popping up, and people are getting apartments, and all these things is popping up with these pre-built CPNs, not CPNs, but pre-built CPNs. And why is there? And then people say, why do they call them pre-built CPNs? Because it's basically an illusion that this was built before you brought it. So it was pre-built, but it's pre-built because it's somebody's actual credit profile is stolen identity. There's no way for you to build a credit profile without information. And that's why people are quote unquote doing a pre-build, because now they want to basically sell them faster, make more money faster. Because if it's already a credit profile established to it, they ain't got to do all the extra work. They don't have to mature that credit profile, try merge it, and do this and do that, find numbers, and that. They got to do all that. Everything is already established already. So that's why they call them pre-built CPNs. And CPNs are not. Well, you got people who pre-built CPNs could be used for stolen somebody who's deceased or babies or just somebody a homeless person. That's a majority of the people that they use when it comes to pre-built CPNs, because they use a homeless person, they're not going to get an alert. They use a deceased person, they're not going to get an alert. They use a child or a baby, they're not going to get an alert. So those are mainly the reasons why people use those type of people, because they're not going to get alerted, they're not going to really know. And then with CPNs, it takes time to try merge, get a bank account, add certain accounts to it, start building a credit score on it, get it matured and all that. It takes a little bit of time. So that's why people have started making pre-built or calling pre-built CPNs, but it's really just stolen identity. And then you got people who are starting to learn the social engineer and learn the rules of the banks. Now, a lot of people, like I said, a lot of people lack the knowledge. So a lot of people think scams are fraud, and it's not. Banks only ensure fraudulent activity, not scams. Like I said, scams are when a fraudster or somebody social engineers somebody into sending their own money willingly with their acknowledgement. So these next scams are more of a social. Well, this next scam is more of a social engineering scam, because what they do is they're using bots now, spoofers, and these spoofers and bots have been very popular for the past 5 to 6 years, maybe going on 8 years. People have been randomly getting scam calls and text messages, and those are bots and spoofers. And basically, what they're doing is going on the dark web and finding people who got information. And there are places on the dark web that sell banks databases, meaning that you can go to a place on the dark web and find a place on the dark web where somebody on the dark web, and they might have Chase Bank um database, meaning that you can buy. They might got people's full information and all that. So you got their number, all that. So you know that all these people actually has a bank with this bank that you're going to use. So they buy the database information, and then they buy these or get these bots. And with the bots, you can have it appear as whatever that you want to appear, whatever number that you want to appear. So you can have it seem like the person own number is calling them. You can have it seem as if anybody is calling you. So they put it at the number that they use is the bank's fraud department number. So it looks like the text messages and phone calls are coming from that bank's fraud department. So they send out the spoof text, "Hey, are you trying to spend 500 at Best Buy? Hey, are you trying to transfer $2,000?" And by them actually having a bank account with that bank, they're already scared. They're afraid. So they're going to text back a note because they actually have a bank. That text message is going to go to the bot. It could be a cell phone, it could be through Telegram, it could be through a site. It's different bots, and they're going to basically act as if they are the fraud department for that bank, and they're going to social engineer that person, either give them their login credentials. Now people have done that, and once they give them their login credentials, they log into that person, the victim's bank account, but they also got to go through the one time passwords part. So what they do is once they get to that part, they say, "Hey, we just sent you over a one-time verification code. Could you send that code over?" And people actually do that. So by them doing that, somebody is logging to their account, and now on the bank's end, it looks like somebody had their password, user name, and they went through the one time password authorization. So it looks legit. It looks like this person is actually logging in. And then they start wiring money out, sending money out, doing all that. And on the other side looking in, the bank side looking in, it looks like this person is doing that. So the bank don't know if you're trying to scam them. They don't know if you sent some money out and doing all this and now you're trying to scam them because from their perspective, you logged in and you gave the right one-time password. And their rules is if you put that one-time password in, there's nothing they can do after that. So scammers and fraudsters have figured out that if they can social engineer somebody into sending their own money or giving them their password to make it look like they are the ones who are doing it, then there's really nothing that they can do because the bank is not going to go after anybody if they don't owe them any money. The bank don't owe nobody no money, then they're not gonna go after the scammer. But if the bank has to pay back the victim the money, they going after that person. And a lot of times the banks don't want to pay back nobody the money. A lot of times you see these stories on the news and they say they get to saying the banks are having a hard time paying them back. They say, but now the banks are paying back the money because once it hits the news, the bank doesn't want to look like a bad institution where people can't get their money or save their money because banks make money off people. It don't matter if you got a checking account, a bank account, whatever. You got an account with a bank, they're making money off of you, and they need that money. So they don't want to lose any money because it's on the news that people are committing scams or fraud on this bank, and they're doing nothing about it. So OTP bots is definitely on the rise, and then you got SIM swapping. People are basically getting people's information and buying these SIM cards and calling these phone carriers like, "Hey, I lost my phone. Could you transfer this SIM from my old phone to this SIM?" They give the information, and then now the phone carriers transfer the person's service to a whole new SIM that the scammer has. They put it in the phone, and then they get to download the apps, and by the service being on that phone, the scammer's phone now, they get to download apps and now they can send one-time passwords and get into people's accounts and change passwords. Then you got people who got cryptocurrency accounts, bank accounts, all different type of accounts, and white people clean for their money. So there's a lot of people, it's a lot of different methods, there's a lot of different scams and schemes just going on in today's world. But those are a couple of the top ones. And then the fifth one is kind of the Zelle cryptocurrency scam, but that's kind of on a whole different platform that people really don't even know about. And then you got the ATM scam too, the jackpot. That's another one. Jackpot. That's six right there. Jackpot. People are getting these tools and they're basically hacking ATMs, bank ATMs, putting malware, viruses on these ATMs and controlling them and having them disperse all the money out the ATM. So using Raspberry Pis and code dots and flipper zeros. Like those are a couple tools that the scammers are using to penetrate, intercept signals and frequencies and do a lot of different hacking things with those tools. So it's just all about being more safe, being more cautious, and being more aware of what's on out there in this crazy real world that we live in, because these things are real at the end of the day. Like, people are really committing these scams and these frauds and these methods, from the poor people to the rich people. Even rich people are scamming and committing frauds. It's just on a whole different level. Ponzi schemes. That's the ultimate scam for the rich people. Ponzi schemes. So it's all about being more safe, being more cautious, and being more aware of what's going on out there in this real crazy world that we live in. Like I said, make sure you guys are getting your Norton LifeLock to monitor all your financial and social media accounts to make sure no suspicious activity is going on. And it'll also monitor your personal information on the dark web to make sure it's not on there floating around for anybody to buy. So make sure y'all getting your Norton LifeLocks. Make sure y'all freezing your credit bureaus, TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian. If they're frozen, nobody can get anything in your name. So make sure y'all freezing those if you're not utilizing them. Make sure y'all get new debit cards and credit cards every so often. A lot of people never get new cards, and they utilize those cards for 8, 10 years. And every time we use those cards, tap, swipe, insert, order online, that information is now being stored on some type of database. And there's always some type of database compromise, leak, or hack. So just think about all the places that you didn't use that card for how long, and what's going on in the world right now. So if you get a new card with new information, that old information is no longer valid and no longer works. So just stay a couple steps ahead of the game, man. Make sure y'all getting these new wallets that's protecting from these scammers in these devices, man. There are special wallets out there that will protect your card. So make sure you guys get those wallets. Make sure you guys are staying more safe, being more cautious, and being more aware of what's going on out here in this crazy world. All right. So shout out to all my real King Hustle fans, supporters, subscribers out there, because without y'all, there'd be no me. Y'all motivate me keep going. Y'all motivate me keep dropping this sauce. And y'all motivate me keep y'all entertained. So shout out to all of y'all. Anybody out there that's tired of being broke because it ain't no joke, let's get to work. FaceTime 101 limited gems are $1,000. But for limited time only, I'm doing it for 600. Yes, 600 Cash App or Bitcoin payment. Once the 600 is on your Cash App or Bitcoin balance, send me a screenshot. Let me know your payment ready, and we will go from there. All right, no screenshots, no replies, no 21 questions, and please do not yell me. Make sure y'all book y'all seat on the webinars Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. 250, 10 seats. Ask me to get help with anything that y'all want to get help with in that time period. So let's get to work. Make sure y'all book y'all seat on the crypto tour and personal limited gems, 3,500. Make sure y'all book y'all seat on a month-long mentorship, $1,000. Make sure y'all checking out my vendor platforms on Telegram and the Potato App Me and their network. Still looking for people for the production company. Still looking for rappers, singers, models, producers, cameramen, women, gamers, streamers, and content curators. Make sure y'all subscribe and hit the notification bell on my YouTube channels, my Twitches, my IGs, TikToks, Snapchats. Make sure y'all checking out the crypto world because it's changing people's lives. And make sure y'all getting there and y'all fit in with these load ups, $100 and up. You can't beat that. Come get a bag, come run it up, come stack in. Go from zero to your family hero. All right. So cash out Bitcoin payments. Once it's on your balance, send me a screenshot. We can go from there. All right. And with that being said, it's your boy King Hustle. Y'all know I get down in these videos. I see you at the next lesson video or live. Peace.